It's no secret to anyone that I fucking love Rare games. Like, Rare, the developer, not Rare as in it's hard to find. No, I mean Rare Limited, a British developer. If I had the ability to make a game, coding, whatever the fuck is needed to make a game, if it was competent enough to make something like that, I would probably apply for them. But because I suck, I have no talent in that. The best I can probably offer is a voice acting role, but I mean, I'm all the way in Texas. They're on the other side of the fucking world. So, I mean, but still, it would obviously be a dream come true if I did. But I'm not known enough. So, one can only dream, right? Now, there is a list of games that I love, which is a lot of them. I'm not going to name them all. And there's games that I really don't like. 4 or 5, maybe. We're not going to talk about either one of those fucking lists. We're going to talk about the small gray area of canceled Rare games. Let's get to this fucking list. Starting off with number 7. Black Widow. I don't mean this fucking bitch. The superhero portrayed by the sexy ass Scarlett Johansson. I mean a fucking video game where you're playing as a giant mech spider. And a bunch of robots are destroying your city. And you gotta wreck their shit before they wreck your shit. And then they wreck the whole city. Not much is known about this game other than, basically what I just said. Mech robot, destroying shit, actually helping, preventing aliens. Not much from the story is known based on the video that I saw, which I'll link down below. I honestly don't remember if it was being made before or after Blast Corps. Blast Corps being a game for the N64, which is fucking fun, to be honest, but it does get kind of challenging towards the end. I don't fucking know what it is about Rare games that are somewhat challenging in certain ways. Need I fucking mention Battletoads? Assholes. When I saw the video, it gave me that vibe. Like, first person, actually sort of third person Blast Corps with a different twist. The game was actually ahead of its time, though. Based on the time the prototype came out, you could actually take pieces off the fucking buildings or pick something up and use as a fucking shield. But other than what's shown in the prototype video, not much has been said about this game. And even though it was canceled, it did get a second life as something in the prototype for another game, which I'm going to mention in a little while. But, I mean, I don't know. Maybe Rare would actually go through their back catalog of canceled games and maybe try to bring one back from the dead. Who knows? Probably won't, but I mean, one can dream. Like, this did look interesting from the video that I've seen. Sundown was actually another ambitious game for its time. It would have marked being the second time Rare kind of dove into the horror franchise. Or the horror genre, excuse me. But I think it would have been the first time it's like a survival horror game. Okay, if you play State of Decay 2, a lot of what makes up the game was actually going to be introduced in Sundown. Base managing, base building. I don't think there was going to be co-op, but it was around the 360 era, so obviously it should have had some sort of co-op. Just from the concept art alone, you could tell that Rare wanted to make a somewhat serious game. Like, if you notice, all of their games have like a goofy vibe or something. But this game, based on the concept art alone, you could tell that they really wanted to do something somewhat serious. The designs for the fucking zombies were disgustingly beautiful. They were actually inspired by John Carpenter's The Thing. So, yeah, that explains why they were hideously beautiful, like I said. As far as story, it's your basic biological parasite that affects living organisms and destroys the fucking world. It's your basic shit. If you really want a good visualization of how this game would have been, imagine State of Decay, base building, fortifying, all that shit, mixed in with the nighttime aspect of Dying Light. Yeah, fucking intense. Now, Cameo 2 was actually a sequel to the original Cameo. Shocker, right? No, but in all seriousness, it was going to be a much more mature take on the Cameo universe. Now, I don't know if you played the first one, but in the first one, it's all colorful and beautiful, and it's like a really good acid trip. The sequel was going to be basically a bad acid trip. Cameo fucks off and goes somewhere, and when she comes back, she's older, more mature, and she actually got touched, not sexually, but by the darkness that was basically engulfing her universe. So, this is basically the elven version of Star Wars. Kind of. Right? I think so. This is the game where the Black Widow mech spider was gonna be part of. And I say that right now because parts of the game were gonna make you Cameo, look like a fucking bitch. Like evil as fuck. Like she was gonna basically use her darkness to summon a fucking elemental warrior, which is what they're called when you turn into other warriors, or the chingaderas like acid trips. She was basically gonna use her darkness to feed her powers. Unfortunately, it got canceled because sales to the original Cameo weren't really good. Like, they were respectable, sure. I mean, it's a Rare game after all, but it's not what Rare and Microsoft had planned considering the pedigree of Rare at the time. And it's a shame. It really is a shame because if you see the concept art and all that on Cameo 2, which I don't know if it had like a sub name. I think it was just called Cameo 2, which is weird considering the first one was called Cameo Elements of Power. If you look at the concept art, it looks vastly different from the original. Like I'm telling you, the original looked like a good acid trip. The second one basically looked like Darksiders. If you play Darksiders, you know what the fuck I'm talking about. How everything's all decrepit and basically being destroyed. It's ruined. Kind of like that, except a little more toned down for maybe a teen rating. But unfortunately, I mean, sales, I'm guessing, is what made this game be canceled, which again is a shame because I really enjoyed the first one. It had its challenges, like any Rare game does, but it was actually really fun. Now we have an actual well-known franchise in this list that was going to get a sequel, or pre-sequel. Perfect Dark. Let's see. The chronological order based on this fucking so far is, even though Perfect Dark came out in 2000 and Perfect Dark Zero came out in 2006, they're fucking reversed. The first one chronologically is Perfect Dark Zero, then Perfect Dark 2000. Now this one was going to be called Perfect Dark Core, which takes place after the original Perfect Dark. So, I mean, I really don't want to go through the whole timeline because it's going to confuse the fuck out of me. But yeah, you know what, fuck it. Perfect Dark Zero, Perfect Dark Core. Sums it up, right? Good. Now, there's a lot been revealed about this game, and I really can't go over all of it because it's going to take quite a while. But I'm going to give you the bare bones, just the small gist of it. It takes place after Perfect Dark, duh. I don't really remember how many years. I think they say in the video, but I can't remember. It takes place after. I think it's the third, fourth fucking time I say it. You find out, or Carrington Industries finds out that Russia is doing some kind of experiments on Titan. If you don't know what the fuck Titan is, I'm not talking about the MCU Titan, even though I think it was actually real. I think it was based off one of the moons from Saturn, which is called Titan. Now, if you don't know the conspiracy theories around Titan, I'm not going to go into them. But basically, Russia has found somewhat of a proof that there's been an ancient civilization on Titan for millions of years. Spoiler alert, that's actually Earth from, I think, this is where it gets convoluted, so bear with me. Basically, an alien invasion happens, which sends, I look like I don't know what I'm saying, but I'm really trying to pick the words to say so I won't fucking confuse you as how I was confused when I first heard it. But I'm gonna try. Earth gets invaded by aliens, and somehow that fucks up Earth, sending it back into space and time millions and billions of years to where the point where it stops, it just so happens to be around Saturn as it's being made by God or whoever made space, and it gets pulled into its gravitational pull, and which I'm guessing modern day Earth turned space. My head hurts, but I really don't fucking know how to explain it. You're just gonna have to watch the video. I'll link it down below. It becomes Titan. Basically, Earth, modern day Earth, thrown into fucking time travel, became Titan, froze over. Billions and billions of years passed. I feel like Donald Trump.
Billions and billions and billions and billions and billions and billions.
All that time has passed, and it became Titan, which so it's basically a second Earth, or the original Earth, or future. See, this is what I fucking mean. It's confusing as shit. Now I'm just gonna breeze through everything because I already spent too much time on this. The alien you save, Elvis, in the first one, betrays you, leaves you for dead on Titan. That's literally how the fucking game would end. It was actually going to be a 2-part game. Kind of like how movies were on the last one were going to be made into 2 parts. You know? Mockingjay Part 1, Part 2, Deathly Hallows Part 1, Part 2. The Allegiant movies, I forget what the third one was going to be called. But yeah. Now, I think that one was going to be a different name. I don't know if it was going to be Velvet Dark, which is another reincarnation of the Perfect Dark canceled sequel that I really don't want to get into because I already spent a lot of time on Perfect Dark Core. That you're just going to have to watch the video for that. You're probably wondering why I have 2 different names on here. I will explain that. This is another long, convoluted story, which could basically be a fucking soap opera for all I know. Donkey Kong Racing. Now, there's actually a tech demo or a trailer for that game, which is a sequel to Diddy Kong Racing. If you never played it, don't fucking play. Okay, play it, it's fun. But the ending is going to piss you off. Again, rare game, difficult. Oh! Now, this is going to be a sequel, obviously, to Diddy Kong Racing. And I'm guessing you're going to play as Donkey Kong. Shocker. And instead of racing cars, you were actually going to race the animals you turn into in the Donkey Kong games. Whether it be the rhino, the swordfish, the ostrich, that fucking bee that would always kill you when you were that close from the ending of the fucking level. It was a bitch. But unfortunately, that game was gonna be made for the GameCube, and the infamous Microsoft Rare merger buyout chingadera happened. So once that finalized, obviously Rare lost all the rights to licensed games or IPs by Nintendo, so they can no longer make Donkey Kong games or Star Fox games, even though I think they only made Star Fox Adventures, which really wasn't that bad. So yeah, they already had the concept of a racing game. They just needed to add something else. And what the fuck could they add? The fucking Saberman. Yeah, you remember him? From the 1982 game or 83 game? Saberman? Or Saber Wolf? I don't even fucking remember. I think it's Saberman. I don't know what the hell I'm doing with that game. You're just going like that and shit. Like, neta, güey? All jokes aside, Saberman, really? Like, this motherfucker looks like Jane's dad from Tarzan. He's got the safari hat and everything. So, the concept stayed the same. Racing animals instead of fucking Donkey Kong. You were a safari exploring midget. The game was originally slated for the original Xbox, but when they saw that Conker Live and Reloaded didn't get that many sales because it came out at the end of the original Xbox life cycle, they pushed it back to the 360. Makes sense. That's what they did with Cameo and Perfect Dark Zero. So yeah, it makes sense. Even though those games kind of sucked, I really didn't like Perfect Dark Zero. They decided to push it back. That also gave them time to change the game a little. And holy fuck did they really change the game. It was no longer a motherfucking racing game. It was, from what I can gather, GTA in the fucking jungle with an elephant. Like, this game really changed. Which is why I'm putting 2 different names on the fucking title card before this video. Because it's 2 literal different games. They had nothing to do with the original racing concept. And yeah, that was literally all it. There was, from what I gathered on the video, it was kind of a basic story. Like, not that much of the story was actually said, but from what you can see in the videos, you really can't pick up shit. I mean, then again, it was just a prototype demo, so. But I think Microsoft and Rare kind of dodged the bullet by canceling this, because I really don't think it would have sold. Mainly because the last fucking time that character came out was in one of the Banjo games. It wasn't even the main character. It was like a side mission. One of the ways you can get a Jiggy. That's literally it. Other than the fucking Game Boy Advance game that was developed by Rare and published by THQ. That was it. Before that, 1980s, motherfucker. These motherfuckers really wanted to make a racing game, didn't they? I mean, they already made one, or two actually, with Mickey Speedway. But they really wanted to make one for Xbox. This one I could actually get behind. It's basically, literally, it was Microsoft's version of Mario Kart, except I think it was only Rare characters. But if it would have taken off, I'm pretty sure they would have fucking used other Xbox IP games. And oh shit, I just picked up on this. Imagine playing and being Marcus riding a fucking centaur. I don't mean the animal with a guy body and the. I'll put an image up here. Imagine. I'm actually picturing it. Imagine being Marcus riding a fucking centaur while, I don't fucking know, Conker is riding whatever the kind of car Conker would be driving. Just beating the shit out of him. Like, actually, I would get behind that. Back to the original topic. Fast and the Furriest. It was only going to be made for Rare characters. That being Banjo, probably Kazooie in their own car, but it'll probably be the same car, like, as Banjo. Mumbo, fucking the Indian chick with big titties. Wamba, I think her name is. Grunty, obviously. Conker, Barry, the mobster, I forget his name. The Weasel, I really can't remember his name. The King Panther, the Nazi scientist. I can name the fucking roster. If I had a chance, I would make the roster. Like, maybe it'll be, based on the name, Fast and the Furious, it will be only their platforming. But, I mean, they got a lot of characters that aren't really just... Fucking Saberwolf, he's furry. But again, I'm pretty sure Microsoft at the time didn't really want to fund that game. Which is a shame because, like I said in a previous video before, Sony already copied their fighting formula with Smash Bros. Being the Sony All-Stars. Fucking Microsoft could have at least copied Mario Kart as the Fast and the Furious. And I mean, I think they already copied the Mario Party formula with Fusion Frenzy. But when the fuck was the last time we saw a Fusion Frenzy game? We deserve one, actually. I really enjoyed the first two. Come on, Microsoft, whose dick do I gotta suck for you to make Fast and the Furious, or for you to greenlight Fast and the Furriest? We saved the best for last. Conker Getting Medieval, which is in turn a somewhat sequel, reboot, to a remaster of an original N64 game. What the fuck is it with convolution in this video? No, but all seriousness. Yeah, I left this towards the end as the last one because it's the most well-known canceled Rare game. I'm pretty sure we all know that it was actually a spin-off and not an actual sequel. Like, you wouldn't fucking play as Conker. You would play as Greg. You don't know who Greg is. He's the fucking Grim Reaper with a microphone or bullhorn to make himself sound more fucking intimidating. Because he actually sounds like a midget with a dick in his mouth. I gotta admit though, Greg was a funny fucker in Conker. Whether it's Live and Reloaded or Bad Fur Day. I think my favorite part about Greg is whenever he was trying to fish, but he was using his fucking scythe.
I don't bloody believe it. They've got fish versions of the little bastards now. Come here. I'll show them. Oh, what's the little again?
It was around the Frankenstein's castle, or not Frankenstein, the Dracula's castle. When they were parodying Bram Stoker's Dracula. Like, I think it was around there when you actually see him trying to fish with his fucking scythe. Surprisingly, not that much is known about Conker Getting Medieval. Like, other than, like, a few concept art, which... One of the fucking furries, the thing fucking characters, looks a lot like the furry purple fox from Star Fox Adventures. It also kind of had, like, obviously a medieval vibe, but I kind of picked up somewhat of a steampunk vibe. I don't know if anyone else did. The link is down below if you want to see like the actual Rare revealed on where it actually was gonna be about. It's not that much commentary. It just shows you like concept arts of what could have been, which actually never came to be, which sucks because we haven't seen Conker in a game since officially 2014, because he did come out in Project Spark, which I've never played, and I probably never will because the servers are offline. But before that, I think the last game he was in was actually Live and Reloaded. So the last game about him was 15 fucking years ago. We desperately need a new Conker game. And that's all I gotta talk about today, folks. With all that being said, I hope you fuckers like, comment, and sub. And what about you? Did you know about any of these games that I said in this list? I honestly only knew about Perfect Dark Core and Conker. That's it. The other, I found out about them basically because I've been playing Rare Replay a lot. And I was like, oh fuck, I want to look into this shit and make a video. Try to get some recognition to canceled games made by Rare. Well, actually, they weren't made by Rare because they were canceled. Duh. I'll see you fuckers later.
I am your father.